Good morning, and thank you for joining us for our very special tea talk this morning. We're excited to have Bianca Asteris hosting Breakfast with Bianca this morning. Bianca is a compassionate therapist who helps individuals navigate life's challenges, whether it's anxiety, depression, or health issues like endometriosis and adenomyosis, which she personally relates to. She believes that with the right tools and support, you can discover new perspectives and move toward a better sense of self. Using various therapy modalities like CBT, CPT, and EMDR, Bianca empowers others to overcome mental health struggles and find growth. We're really excited to have you here, Bianca. And for those who don't know, we have expanded our Healing Hue Scholarship Program. And so, in collaboration with Bianca, we are providing one mental health scholarship this year. So, we encourage you to check out our website and apply. And with that being said, please welcome Bianca.
Hello, good morning. Hi. So just a few things. I was going to add a disclaimer because about discussion about the body can be triggering. So, if you need to step away or take care of yourself in whatever way, just wanted to put that out there. Um, but hopefully, I'm trying to make this more informative and that you impart with some tools or ideas to try out. But in the beginning, I'm going to talk about some of the unfortunate truths of negative, like body image and things that deter from positivity. So I also ask if you have a piece of paper that you can write down. I'm gonna ask a few questions while we're having this breakfast together, just to write down for your own benefit and just to kind of process um, to work towards more body positivity. Um, so, so if you need to get a piece of paper, just give you a second and a pen, and then we can start. Um, just give you a moment. Okay. So, um, so as a woman, it seems like picking apart our bodies seems to start early. Um, an early reference reminds me of Mean Girls, the scene where Caddy doesn't know the ritual of criticizing her body and then saying something that she has bad breath in the mornings. I hope I didn't ruin Mean Girls for you, but hopefully you've seen it by now. um, so this is kind of iconic in the sense of it's normalized that that's what you do, right? Like you talk bad about your body, you talk bad about yourself, and it's encouraged. But since she was raised outside of, um, you know, maybe the US or, um, and that wasn't normalized for her, she didn't know it, which is kind of telling of the things that we learn. So, some of the things might be racially biased towards bodies, what we should look like. Um, like there's more of a normative of what is beautiful. There's fat phobia and many other forms of hatred that are not true but are made to be normative. So, not feeding into those ideals, but recognizing beauty where it lies within and takes all forms. Um, with that being said, there's entire industries that relate to this need to change ourselves or to be something different than what we are. So, I I say this to, kind of acknowledge that it is helpful to acknowledge that for what it is, because, as we're trying to focus on body positivity, it helps to recognize like some of the things that we might have received messages, um, and maybe some of it can be very how do I say, like, where you didn't even realize it, or maybe you do realize it, but then it's still like can be very difficult to work your way around that. So, I'm gonna ask you guys in a little bit to write something down um, in in relation to that. So, um, another aspect, again, we'll get into more of the um, ideas and tools, but for right now, I'm just kind of touching on maybe some of the more negative to help move to that. So, body awareness and issues can also be impacted by your peers growing up, parents and adults commenting on your bodies, families, saying things, and even the influence of how other people feel about their body. Some examples could be like seeing a mom that constantly speaks bad about how she looks or being on constant diets. And then maybe having a chronic illness, maybe starting to have symptoms in your youth that could influence your mind body connection. So, just a few things putting that out there as far as like some negativity that could be something to explore. So, my question for you, if you'll write this on your paper, is what is a message you received about your body or body image growing up? Could be from like societal, it could be peers, family, um, it could be health wise. So I just want you to take a second and, see if there's something that you can relate um, to kind of impart some wisdom of your own experience because you're the expert on your body. So, and that's also part of this work too, is to recognize that connection you have. So I'll give a few seconds. No one's going to share. This is for your own benefit, but give you a second for that. So, okay. So, hopefully, you got to jot something down just to kind of help build that awareness. So now we're going to get more into like definitions and talk about body positivity, and then we'll get into some tools as well. So I'm going to share a slide in a second. So, what is body positivity, and what is the difference between body positivity and body neutrality? Because I think it also helps to recognize the two definitions in the sense of, where you're at. It's okay, if to relate to what feels comfortable, and understand maybe I'm not here at body positivity, but maybe body neutrality feels, more appropriate. So, body positivity refers to having a positive view of your physical body, regardless of its shape, size, or other appearance related attributes. So, it involves loving your body for what it is, even if it isn't perfect according to society's standards. So, and again, if body positivity feels a little off brand right now, don't worry. You don't have to force it. That's not helpful either. But so start with body neutrality as a way to work your way into more positivity, and um, or stay with neutrality. Just find what works. It's more about moving away from hatred and finding love for your body, or like, where you're at. So body neutrality is different from body positivity in that it doesn't involve always loving your body, but is more about accepting it. Instead of concentrating on physical appearance with body neutrality, the focus is more on body's abilities and non-physical characteristics. So an example of body neutrality is saying to yourself, my body is great and that enables me to engage in social activities or activities period I enjoy, or my body is amazing that it gave me, you know, um, gave me the ability to drive to work, or or gave me the ability to make breakfast this morning. Body neutrality is about appreciating what your body can do as opposed to concentrating on how it looks. So I'm gonna look at, let's see, I'm gonna do a share screen to kind of show the difference. Okay, I can't do a share screen. Okay, well, that's okay. I'll describe the picture to you. So it shows two women in a mirror. One woman is looking at herself, and it says, "I love my legs because they help me run." This is more of an example of body neutrality. Um, and then in the other one, the other one, the body neutrality, she's kind of just like looking at herself, like, okay, And then the body positivity is more of like, you know, maybe more empowering and kind of really just engaging, looking at the mirror. And it says, "I love my legs, my cellulite, and all. They are beautiful." So you kind of understand the difference between the two. One is more, neutral, and then the other one's more positive, but one's more focused on ability, and the other one's more focused on like maybe more on looks. Um, so, so starting with ways or tools to build on. Actually, before we get into that, I want everyone to kind of write down where they feel they are. You could actually be in both. You can be in body positivity with certain things and be in body neutrality with others, or you can do just like be in one or the other. It kind of can, if that, I don't know if that makes sense, but but like find what is most telling for you in the sense of overall, like what you identify with. Um, and again, there's no wrong answers. It's just more of recognizing where you might be, and that's okay. So just give yourself a second and maybe jot down. I identify with fill in the blank, and then maybe why, because blah blah blah. It could even be in times in your life too. It could be like, this week I am here. This other week, man, I'm here, So, or whatever is feels, appropriate for you. Okay, so now we're gonna move into things that can help with body positivity, um, and we're gonna get into some acknowledgement of different tools that might be helpful. Um, so, so a way, I think something that can be like engaging for body positivity is kind of finding things that show self love, and this can also be part of neutrality as well. Kind of grouping those together for now, but just recognizing the importance of caring for your body. Maybe recognizing if there is suffering, um, to recognize like the things that you can do to make things better with that. Um, so I feel like this is getting into the realms of boundaries within your body, and finding time to take care, um, whether it's time for self reflection, respecting your mental health, respect for limitations, attention to nutrition as able, and loving your body despite its misgivings at times, or if it's um, there's a constant struggle to identify that, but still try to love your body. I know that can be hard, but it's the more about being fruitful in the sense of giving love to your body, just despite that. So, it could look something like, I'm not wearing jeans this week. It is a, fill in the blank week. My belly is like, seriously, it's not happening, but like a way of giving love is like, okay, that's okay. I'm going to take care of this body given this, what's going on right now. So, um, love your body and having forgiveness for how it is, maybe taking blame out of the mix, and working to understand your body and give it what it needs. Maybe that even means um, not doing things too. Like maybe if you are somebody that weighs yourself, maybe you choose not to do that for a certain period of time, or do things that feed in to help you have that positive connection with your body, even in the midst of challenges. Um, so love your body where it's at. Take the judgment out, but develop compassion and understanding, and then put that into action. So, I would like everyone to kind of take a second and identify what is something I can do this week to give um, love to my body, or have compassion for it, and understanding, like what's a behavior that I can have related to that. Um, and then I'm going to ask a similar question, but it's going to be in a different reference based on a different type of psychology. But just for right now, like kind of check into what that means for you based on exactly what I said. And then if it's the same thing later, that's okay too. But it's kind of like two different references. So just throwing that out there. So I'll give a second for that. I was going to mention too, if anybody does want to share in the chat, that's okay too. I didn't say that before, but I'm thinking, like, if you do want to, but you don't have to either. But if that's something you do want to impart, um, then you can. So, okay. So another tool or activity, a way to practice body positivity is by doing mirror work. I know I mentioned about that image with the lady in the mirror. But instead of like that reference with Mean Girls of tearing yourself apart, you're actually finding things you like or maybe even love about your body. I love my strong legs, or I love the way my shoulders look in a sleeveless top. Looking to fight the negative self-talk and trying to promote positive affirmations, such as I am happy as I am, the way I am is good, or something of that nature, as a way to help engage more of the positive self-talk versus the negative self-talk. Sometimes by saying more positive affirmations, you're not how to say, you're not feeding into the negativity. You're being more proactive of identifying the things you do like. Um, so, or the things that you're good with. Um, so, so, I know it's still early, but give a second and think about what has your body done for you today. It could be yesterday. So if that's, something, um, and you got out of bed, so that's something. But when I say that, if something else pops up for you, that was yesterday, that's okay too. So, but that's um, that's more of the body neutrality focus, but um, it's still good. So, as part of connecting to the warrior within and caring for your body, I want you to think of how what that looks like for you. And maybe what is something you can do to love your body today, um, in the sense of maybe I will, go for a small walk, or maybe I will rest because I need to rest. It's been a long week. Um, maybe I will I need my heating pad today, or maybe an ice pack for my back, or and there's other forms of like taking care and loving on your body, but this is, you know, I'm just coming up with examples that. So maybe it's taking an Epsom salt bath, or just something you can do, a small action with that gives you good connection to your body. So if you don't mind writing that down and kind of checking in to something you can do, maybe if sitting down and just breathing and seeing what comes up for you, like checking in to how your body feels and putting breath into it and trying to find the connection to your breath and the calmness that comes with that. Um, Doing the meditation, or if it's just about, breathing and body scanning, and connecting back to your breath. If you do feel something in your body that um, feels bothersome, trying to connect back to your breath. So, another thing is connecting to your senses. So, with mindfulness, being present in your body, the wondrous ways that our bodies have sight, sound, um, taste, touch, and smell. So our bodies are where we experience the world and explore. So recognizing the ways in which that can enable more of a body neutrality, um, and help engage with the world, and also be part of, those actions you can take, like what is it I want to see? What is it I want to hear? What is it I want to taste and touch and smell? Like recognize how that is can be part of the abilities our bodies have. Excuse me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about behavioral activation. This is part of more of a CBT type focus. So it's a type of psychotherapy that helps people improve their mood by engaging in activities they enjoy. So doing things we enjoy gives us feelings of pleasure. Challenging ourselves means that we have a chance to grow and develop, and gives us a sense of mastery. Having positive relationships with other people makes us feel connected and valued. So this is more in the lines of um, applying to body positivity as another approach. So like, what's an activity you enjoy, and how can you relate this to your body? This can be actually more in the lines, again, of body neutrality, um, as far as what my body can do, but it's like almost that idea of being present and your capability. So, sometimes if somebody's like really depressed, this might be like absolutely completely depressed, like more um challenging. But if like there's certain ways to approach it, but there's goals with achieving certain things to help work on um, connecting to that behavioral activation. And again, it's not an all or nothing kind of thing. It's like a small approach. It's like, okay, so for 5 minutes today, I'm going to do blah, 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 and then kind of building up on that. Um, or just acknowledging you did it, you did that approach or you did that activity. Maybe if it's socializing, like being able to engage in something that feels okay for you at that very moment. So it's more of acknowledging what you do versus not that you didn't do it, but working on building that motivation if say you had trouble doing it. So it's a different approach, but it is something that is helpful in the sense of recognizing your capabilities, your abilities, and um, more of the action. So these all kind of are entwined in certain ways, but different. Um, so so just write something. Maybe that maybe not today, maybe in the next week or next 2 weeks. That's an activity and that you can relate to. That you enjoy, that brings you joy. It could be a hobby. Um, and then again, capability with body connected to that. So, so we're going to move into, um, we'll move into more of a positive psychology approach. Um, and I'm giving you guys some different aspects and just, try to meet where you're at, and application could be different for us all. So just kind of seeing if you can relate, and if anything feels helpful, then please try it, or please connect to it. So um so before I get into positive psychology, I was actually I was helping my daughter with the Girl Scouts project, and it made me like we had to find some quotes from women that relate to the Girl Scout law. And as I was doing that, I was reading over I love quotes. I used to like have like a notebook where I just write quotes because I just love quotes. Um, but there was one that related to body image or body positivity, and it got me excited. So I thought I'd share. It seems like that happens when I'm working on something. Something pops into my life that's related to it, and I like to make a connection there. So it's actually a quote from Queen Latifah. She talks a lot about body positivity. She's very outspoken about it. And she talked about, I had to grow to love my body. It occurred to me, I'm either going to love or hate me. So she also shared about stepping outside of yourself and looking at you as if you were someone else you really care about and want to protect. So I feel like maybe a lot of people can relate to this because of the saying our own worst enemy. And I feel like that is can be very common amongst especially amongst women, or that identify as women, um, is that you it's easier for you to do something nice for someone else or care about someone else, but when it comes to yourself, that might be more challenging. So I like that, her identification of that approach too. Like maybe sometimes you need to see yourself from an outsider's perspective. Sorry, I just saw The queen, okay. Yeah, so, um, because it can make it easier, it can make it easier to, like and that's actually that is a CBT focus too, is like, okay, so if you saw someone else, would you say that to 'em? Kinda looking into it as from a different perspective, or if somebody else was going through what you're going through, what would you say to them? Kind of focus, but I like that she identified that, approach, and it's so true, and, like, we either get to decide if we're gonna love or hate ourselves, so, uh, it's like, okay, like, let's make that choice, right? Let's make that choice to love ourselves, and it can be challenging, but it does make such a huge difference when, connecting more into that love. And is it perfect? Is it sometimes it's not perfect, but trying more to be on the side of loving ourselves. So let's talk about positive psychology. Um, so positive psychology is more about really feeding into that positive focus. Um, So here, I'm just gonna give some approaches. So appreciate all your body can do. Kind of goes in line with a lot of the things we were talking about ability. Um, so beauty is a state of mind, not a state of your body. Which I feel like that might be really helpful to recognize is especially having challenges with your body is like I might be having, like, a really hard week, but I'm still beautiful, I still matter, I can still look at myself and love myself even though maybe I don't like the way these clothes are fitting on my body, or maybe I don't feel like getting out of bed, or, but just connect that it is a state of mind more than, um, where our bodies might be at that time. Um I like this one too. So focus on self as a whole and not parts. I think that's where that picking apart is a thing that can happen. Um, so that is, it's kind of funny because it kind of goes both ways, like where oh, I love how my legs are strong, but don't look at yourself as a part. But so maybe it's all individual too, right? Like if I focus on myself as I am, so and so. I am nice, I am caring, I am strong, I am fill in the blank, I do good things. Um like things that you like about yourself or that are strengths. I am opinionated, like it doesn't always have to be about caring about someone else either. I feel like that's another thing that women can kind of fall into. But more about like I how you feel good about yourself in all ways, as a whole, like who you are, and then not pick apart, like, "Oh, this looks this way." But anyhow, so it's a little bit of both, right? Like sometimes maybe one aspect is more helpful, and the other times maybe looking at yourself in another way might be more helpful. Or maybe it's always that way. So just find what works for you. Um, so another part of positive psychology in reference to body positivity is shutting down those negative thoughts about your body. I kind of touched on that already about the positive affirmations. Um, and like focusing on some like saying nice things, but this is like the other aspect of when you hear the maybe negative voice in your head that says, "Oh, I'm so ugh," whatever the thing is that it's a negative thought about your body, like shut it down, say, no, that's not true. If you're in that place, maybe you could say something positive, but or neutral, but if not, just shut it down, be like, you know, call it for what it is, because negative thoughts about your body are never helpful, right? Um, wear clothes that are comfortable and that make you feel good about yourself. Um, Oh my gosh, yes, I love this one because I think, numbers used to be I know for myself when I was younger, it used to be such a focus, like, "Oh, I'm not size blah, blah, blah," "I wanna be size blah." Um, so and then, even as adult, I think I recognize struggling with that now, I don't care, it's like, if it fits, if it looks comfortable and I feel good in it, feels good on my body, then, hey, whatever works. What makes me like, what makes me or what makes your body feel comfortable, what's comfortable, what is like taking the number out of that, and focusing more on fit. And um I know you kind of have to like have a number in order to order things and stuff like that, but maybe that not being your focus is what I'm saying. It used to be that you didn't order online, it was more like you're in the store and trying stuff on. But now that's kind of the world's changed. So I know a lot of times you do need a number and then to try stuff on too in the store. But I'm digressing, so let me go back. So what I'm saying is, like, try not to focus on that as a form of, positive body positive psychology with body positivity is, identify what feels good, um, and what is comfortable. So another aspect is become an aware viewer of social and media messages. It said when I was like looking over different materials and looking at books and such and doing some research, it said critical, but I didn't really like that word. I think being aware is good. Critical. It's good to be like critical thinking, use those skills, but I think it's more about being aware and not allowing you to feed into the BS, so to speak. Not everybody looks a certain way, nor should they. Healthy is good, not, um, you know, I feel like this, like being, and luckily it is changing in some aspects, but there's still like this, thin is the best kind of approach, but really it's healthy is, what is most important. And like taking care of yourself. And um, everyone looks different, and that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And acknowledging where sometimes how the messages you receive about the way you should look or what you should be wearing or all those shoulds, don't should on yourself. Get out of that and go, you know what, that is that, and this is my approach, and this is how I'm going to take care of myself, and this makes me feel good. I don't have to do what the media tells me or what's popular or all those things. um, Another approach is, we kind of talked about this too, is doing something nice for yourself, something that lets your body know you appreciate it. And that's what I was kind of talking about, resting if you need to rest, going for a small walk if you feel like you need to get your body moving. And this is kind of my own take on it, is, body movement versus exercise. Like maybe sometimes the focus on exercise, and exercise isn't a bad thing, but sometimes it can be stressful because the messages might be received about that. So focusing on the movement of the body versus as a sense of what does your body need? How am I going to give it what it needs? Versus, you know, the sense of I have to do this. This is what, and health is important. So, but maybe it's in conceptualization of, how you move your body might be more helpful as an approach to not feel, um, I don't know, the stress that can be felt with um, the word exercise or I must do, certain things. But um I feel like it could be more about movement when it comes to body positivity and doing things that help your body feel good. Um, whatever that looks like. So, and then, this kind of goes into actually with the becoming an aware or critical, in a sense, viewer of social and media messages is about comparison. So, comparison 99.99% of the time is not helpful to body positivity. Like we all do it. But it's like maybe if you find yourself comparing, check into that, and see, if it makes you feel bad, recognize that for what it is, but then acknowledge that, you know what, I am where I am, and that's good. And maybe it's not helpful for me to do that because it makes me feel bad. So, just kind of throwing that out there because, again, 99.99%, it is not going to make you feel good. So, um, well, I guess I was going to move into the question part, and I hope this was helpful. I had a whole thing, another thing, but maybe we can talk about it another time because I'm looking at the time. So let's, I guess, open it up for questions if there's any. Comments too, or it could be like disagreement or anything. I'm open to all. So whatever comes up for you. Um,
And you can just unmute yourself if you'd like to ask a question or anything like
oh
that. So
yeah.
that
Okay. Thank you,
I'll just
Mary.
that.
Maria. Sorry.
Yeah. But I actually love all the references that you made. The Mean Girls, Queen Latifah, love it
Mhm.
My
all.
attempt at humor.
No, I love that. They're great.
What? It was funny. I saw that movie and I was like, oh my gosh. It's funny how life does that sometimes, like you're focused on something and then all of a sudden it's like coming out of every which way. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, um, even more than like the external body image, for a lot of us, there's also the like internal body image, sort of like one thing I hear so much in the community is, I hate my uterus. I hate my body. Like, I hate, um, you know, like, oh, my stupid uterus. My uterus is such a bitch. Like things of that nature where we get really down on blaming our organs. And I think, and this is one thing that I've definitely stolen from Maria, listening to her like talk about her experience with her body. Um, when, like Maria, you had your hysterectomy and you saw what your uterus looked like and realized, oh my God, like she's suffering too. Like, and how do we close that gap between realizing that your body is with you and your body is struggling with you?
Yes.
And I loved what you talked about, Bianca, in terms of like trying to figure out what your body can do for you. Because so often we focus on what we can't do. So I thought it was really helpful hearing you talk about what we can do, what your body does do for you.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I get that hatred towards the organ. But I can understand like on both sides, right? Like having that feeling, but then also recognizing, okay, like I guess that's where I was talking about the blame, like taking the blame out of it, like because that's a form of blame is that my uterus is like evil kind of thing, like
Mm-hmm.
blaming it for it being and I guess I'm glad. Thank you so much for bringing that up because yeah, it'd be good to state that actually and put it application towards, the struggles of having endometriosis and yeah, the hatred that comes up for your body. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm maybe one to propagate that hatred myself before. um to fill my again narrative needed to like deal with a hysterectomy is maybe that's a form of grief too, like I need to hate this because I'm need to get rid of this or how it's impacted me. um but maybe if you're not in that place yet or never will be as far as having like a surgery or well a removal, and learning to love that, and have a separation in the sense of, this is my body, but and my yes, my uterus is having, um, I guess to put it nicely, malfunctions per se, but, but it's not like it's trying to do it or it's after me or, like, kind of, like, taking that out of it, more of, like, "Okay, this is what's happening, and I'm trying to" how do I say, manage the best I can, or it's trying to do it the best it can. It is it's kind of an interesting phenomenon, so to speak, because there's so much we don't understand about it. Um, I feel like that makes it more difficult too, right? Like the not understanding. But it would be helpful to be more in that place of like, okay, maybe I don't hate it, but I understand it's malfunctioning and it's, you know, more of that approach versus like the hate and anger. But I guess I feel like with that being said, there is that aspect of like grief. And maybe that's part of that grief of working through like, that whole thing. So what are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree, and I think what I think learning to grieve and also giving yourself permission to grieve, because I think a lot of us think it's not right to grieve,
Hmm.
when we're dealing with these conditions and how we're feeling about our bodies. But also I think you have to learn how to give yourself a lot of grace, and that's very, very hard when you are experiencing pain and this sadness and you know the feeling of loss and everything like that. So I think that's probably something as individuals we need to just do that on a daily basis. Life is hard, and then when you're dealing with chronic illness as well, that's sometimes you just feel like the world is against you, and when your own body is against you or you feel like it, that makes it really, really hard to give yourself grace. But I think just taking a moment every day, I mean, I work very, very hard to come to this conclusion, right? To be more aware of not separating the organs and me. It's really like trying to give yourself a lot of grace, give your body a lot of grace, and it takes a long time to practice that, to be mindful of that. And I do find that you you become less stressed. You place less stress on your body, on your mind, and but yeah, that I think Bianca, if we could go into that, if we can ever have another tea talk or something, I
Yeah,
think this is a really great topic to talk about.
Hmm.
is more of the not having hatred towards your body.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I hear you talk, Maria, like one thing that just made me think of is, you mentioned not separating your organs and you. I think where we do need to separate is our bodies and us being one entity against the disease.
Yes.
Because so often our organs get wrapped up in the disease. We see our
Yes.
organs as the disease. We see our body as the disease or
Yes.
diseases, endo, adeno, etc. But it's, yeah, finding that like unified me and my body against this.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I think I
uh,
feel like this is something we can continue to talk about for hours and hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much to unpack, but I think this is why it's so important to have a community to talk about
absolutely.
this, to reframe our outlook on our body, on the disease, on
Mm-hmm.
our relationships with our bodies. Um, and yeah, this is just one of many conversations I hope we're gonna have, Bianca, with the community.
Absolutely.
And
Well, I have a little analogy that I thought of too. It's kind of perfect for fall, but I was gonna. And again, this is, I think my focus on body positivity was more of there was like internal but external too, but just because, a lot of times that is quite a struggle. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I have all these pumpkins, right? So you look at the pumpkins and they're different, right? They're all different. And do you look at them and judge them for being different? Or do you look at them and like have any hatred or judgment for, and we do that to our bodies. So I thought it was kind of appropriate to kind of like we find that the I don't know, for myself, I'm like, oh, it's so they're so cute, or they're so nice, or they're
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of fun to look at. I feel like that is a good approach to how we look at our bodies too, is it's different and I still like it, or it's the same and I like it, or like it doesn't matter. It's more of just showing likeness and love versus judgment and hate. So, but as far as like the struggles and hating organs, and I feel like that, yeah, definitely could be a complete another topic in its own for sure. So, um, and that focus, absolutely. So maybe we can have that like a different time.
yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
I know we are close to the end of time here. Wanted to thank you again, Bianca, for doing this with us and for getting on this ride with the scholarship with us. I really, really hope that more people will apply for it. But definitely after this event, we will post a link to your blog, and hopefully we can also post this video as well so that others can watch it if they missed it. But in the meantime, thank you very much again. And thank you to everybody who joined us today. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend and Saturday. And that's it. And if anyone else has anything else, please let us know, email us, text us, whatever. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Take
Thank
care.
you.